Welcome to Geek Nerd Tech on Black Hollywood Live. Today, hackers attack San Francisco's rail system. Rogue One comes out in a couple of weeks, and Uber is on trial. Let's go.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Live's Geek Nerd Tech.
Yes, 1996 marks the beginning of a new era.
X to the Z.
Functional member of the alcoholic family. It's exhibit. Sometimes I wonder if it's all
Love this song.
Song is classic, man. Classic West Coast song, man.
Only in the rap game.
Paparazzi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to Geek Nerd Tech. I'm Joe Braswell, joined as always by my man Achilles Shine, H to the K.
Yeah,
How
man.
you doing?
I'm good, man.
Did you have a good holiday? Good.
Yeah, man. Good time with the family.
Yep.
Get to regroup, realign, and check in and see where everyone's at, man. It's just good to have a little break, man. What about yourself?
I
Good
agree.
time?
Yeah, a good time at a whirlwind multi-city world tour.
That's right. You were traveling a lot.
I did
World tour.
Seattle and Arizona and Denver and but yeah, I'm back. It was cool. It was a good one. And Exhibit, man. I know we're done with that one, but I love Exhibit.
Exhibit is dope, man.
Paparazzi.
Slept on, man. Slept on in this new era, man.
Slept on.
Got some heaters, man.
Big bad,
The
insane
licks, man.
black
Not even
John
just-
McClane.
Alcoholics, though. That was my group in the 90s,
That was
man.
my group too. Like
Yeah.
they could do that. They were the funniest.
Yeah, they had bars, they had beats.
Bars, beats, and they were hilarious.
Yeah.
Like super clever.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. The
Personality.
Personality. Licks were dope.
Yeah.
Exhibit was dope. And I think now the legacy for most, kind of like Gen Ys and millennials is like him on what's the Pimp My Ride.
Yeah, he's on Empire now, too, though.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
That shows you how much.
This season.
Okay. All right. I'm not caught up.
Yeah.
It's my company. That's my whole thing with Empire. every episode is like, it's my company now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is it still good?
I don't really watch it as much.
Okay.
No, it's not still good.
Okay. It's my company now.
Yeah. It's
all
corny.
right.
But it was always corny.
It was always corny, but it was corny in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay, so lots to talk about. We had kind of some time off last week, and lots to talk about in the tech world. I want to start with what's going on with Uber. Uber is trying to continue its worldwide domination. We talked about Uber, going into China and having trouble in China, and really trying to assert itself in China. I mean, look, Uber is ubiquitous in the States now, and they've won all kinds of battles
In the world.
Yeah, the States, but also in the world. But they've won all these battles. They beat the battles in New York with the cab companies. They even conquered LA with the LAX.
Yep.
They've even conquered Vegas. They
Yep.
figured out Las Vegas now,
Yeah.
which was I didn't think it was going to happen. But
I didn't either.
They figured out a way to do that, and made a deal with the hotels. And they got to get your cabs over here and your Ubers over here, and
Exactly.
everybody's happy.
Exactly.
But they're still having real problems in Europe, especially in France and some other folks. And I mean, it's real. It's real
Super
for
real.
those. It's real for those folks. The cab companies out there. Like, I mean, they've been protesting. Protests have turned violent in some cases. I mean, people have compared this to sort of colonialism. America's coming in and just forcing Europe to do what they want to do, and so now they're going to have their day in court and really see if this thing's going to fly. But what do you think about that?
I mean, I think it is with any company that's expanding into other markets globally. They're going to have these type of issues, especially when they're companies that are innovating and doing things that aren't, conventional or traditional. Like, Uber, like Tesla, like, a lot of these innovating companies are known for, breaking up the old regime, and that is an uncomfortable process. And so the argument is always, is Uber a technology company or is it a transportation company? And that's what, in each of the cases that you outline, even in the States, is what they've had to explore and define.
Right.
And Uber obviously argues that it's a technology company,
Sure.
but these old guys that want to keep kind of the old infrastructure in place argue that it's a transportation company, and in a way, it's making it very difficult for them to stay alive and float in this new technological world we live in. So, I think that it's a great thing that Uber, has figured out a way to manage transportation way better, and I think they should be allowed to expand wherever they want. That's my viewpoint. You disagree?
I'm on the fence on this. I do have some old school thinking.
When's the last time you took a taxi? Get out of here! Don't even start with me. Don't even start with me.
In New York, I do.
Get out of here.
I cab more than Uber in New York, maybe, but it's good out of convenience.
Okay.
We were there. That's why I was there. 'Cause I was with you. So okay. So I'm of two minds. I agree. I think it's very interesting. This is the kind of thing we've been talking about before on these technology companies in who are in these other industries who want to hide behind being technology companies. We talk about this with Twitter and Facebook. Are they media companies or are they news organizations? Are they technology companies? We talk about this with now Uber. Like, are they a technology company or are they a transportation company? I think they're both, and I think they can't have it both ways. I think it's really.
How are they a transportation company? They don't own any cars.
Yes.
Define what a transportation company is.
You're right, but it feels very loophole-ish. It just feels very like their whole business is that's like saying that's like saying that Apple's not a consumer electronics company. We just
why they make consumer electronics.
Right, okay, well, all right. Here's my argument. I guess there's something besides. I feel like it's the feeling here is. It's one thing if it's like the industry is changing and this is a group of companies, like let's just say it's like Lyft and Uber and a bunch of us saying like, hey, we want to change sort of the way things are done. Yeah. That's one thing. It's another thing to have one corporation come in and change an ecosystem. I mean, I understand that's how it's done. I guess that's kind of what France is railing against. Like, we have a whole ecosystem, what we've been doing for a year, and then you are one American company, an American company, coming over here and be like, yeah, France, we're going to do it a different way, France. Yeah. We're Uber. That's a little annoying. I get that. I think it feels just like there's a better way to massage this and go about it. Like, I feel like it just.
Like what?
Maybe there's a way to like they did in New York. You involve the cab companies in Vegas. There's a way to sort of involve them as opposed to coming in and being like, yeah, we're doing it this way now, France. Like, I feel like that you have a lot of old,
well, I don't think it's
established, unionized, guys who their livelihood depends on this, and they don't know how they don't know how to flip over to an Uber.
It's not an argument
because some like 40-year-old dude in San Francisco decided he's coming over there to change.
So someone that's 40 plus that loses their job because they don't have the technological skills to play in this new era should has the difficulty of getting hired, shouldn't be hired. I mean, that's the same argument. Or saying that because it's old and because it's the way things were done before, that something can't be better to replace it.
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, this is the argument that we have in this country about like any kind of modernization and any kind of all these factory jobs and coal jobs and all these oil jobs that can be replaced by high tech jobs and solar and green jobs. But people are like, I don't want to be a green. I'm a coal miner. I'm not a green. So I get that. Like, it's up for the people to change.
Right.
However, I guess my argument is just I understand the resistance of another country. Like, what if that was America? What if some French company came in and was like, yo, check this out. This is how we're going to do things right now. We're
I don't think that matters to me. I'm personally not aligned by nationality as it relates to the products and services that I use because it's an American company. Right. I'm gung ho. That's not me. Maybe that's for other people. That's not me. Yeah. So if there was another company that was coming out of the Congo in Africa or the Philippines that was able to create some type of luxury for me,
best whatever, like, I'm with it.
100%.
Right. I don't disagree with that. I think what I'm saying is I'm not making the argument that this is wrong. I'm saying I understand France's. How the French are responding to it, but we'll have the day in court. We'll see how it works out.
Hey man, I say the wall will fall down. Uber will be in France. Yeah, that's what I see. Come in March, come in the summer, Uber will be there. Yeah, it's impossible. To prevent it.
Those Frenchies, man, I don't know. They might. It's violent. It's violent.
But it's not just Frenchies; it's the whole EU.
Yeah, right. It's all the EU. All right. So speaking of some companies doing some stuff, taking over, AT&T, a couple of AT&T stories. This first one is the headline is they've declared war on an open internet, and I think that like this whole net neutrality battle, there was this whole conversation about these companies like AT&T and others who have the ability, and Comcast, who have the ability to control the level and the speed of the internet you get based on what services you're getting by them, and that's like not that's they're saying that we rule that's not we can't do that. That's not the way they do that. Like, you can't do that. So everybody's happy that passed. However, there's some loopholes in there. Like T-Mobile's been offering this whole unlimited streaming thing. You know, like if you are using Spotify or so-and-so, you get unlimited streaming, which is kind of a loophole. So AT&T is making the argument like, okay, well, we own a DirecTV. Why can't we say if you get DirecTV, we'll give you better internet? Like that's the whole thing. And so that's kind of what they're saying. Or if you all have all AT&T products, or if you have AT&T phones, if you have AT&T things, like that could be problematic. Meaning, you know, if you're using AT&T services and products and not using AT&T services, your whole thing could be jacked up. This is a way that they can dominate. What do you think of this whole thing?
Well, I think it's definitely a slippery slope, and it could be challenging because, you know, these traditional ISPs, internet service providers, are now acting like traditional cable companies, meaning that they have a portfolio of companies that they own that are creative companies, that they create content. And so because they own them now, they give favor to those companies versus the competitor who's owned by someone else may not have the same ability to connect with the consumer and also have the same speed to be able to give that information, that content over to that audience, to that consumer. And so that's where the problem is, because, hey, I own this bunch and cadre of companies. Yeah, I'm going to push these forward. And yeah, I'll be able to build my audience by supporting these companies. But you other companies, good luck with that. Yeah. And that's the problem, because, like, well, how come we don't get a fair shake of being able to speak to your consumer with the same amount of speed?
Right.
And that is a problem that I think that this loophole will definitely be extracted, and they will not be able to enforce that. I think it's too much of a slippery slope, and I think it destroys the protections that we have of net neutrality.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you a question. You answered, like, how do you see it shaking out? Like, how do you think this?
The government's going to come in and regulate this.
Yeah.
Bottom line. I don't.
Even in a Trump administration where everything's like, no government regulations.
I mean,
let corporations do everything.
You know, that's a good point. You know, that's really a good point, and that's an unknown. And I guess in theorizing what will happen, who knows? Like, it could go that way. It could go that way because of the extreme positioning that Trump and his administration probably will have. Like, who knows what will happen with the regulations of certain things, and just how the country and world will be. You know, we're approaching a whole different era of existence. So. Right. Who knows? However, I would bet my money that there will be a lot of people that are vocalizing against this, because it's just a loophole that's going to make the rich richer, and the people that are going to suffer are the people that need information, content. Because I'm not signed up to AT&T and I have someone else, I don't have the same affordability to be able to get the content that's going to inspire my dreams. Right. You know,
like,
so
yeah. I mean, I can't wait for the announcement of like the press conference. It's like President Trump, I announce TrumpNet. I'm a blind trust. My kids are running it, but man, TrumpNet is the fastest. It's beautiful. It's the fastest internet ever.
You are too much.
It's terrific.
Immigrants can't sign up.
It's only
Muslims can't sign up.
The box is a white box.
Exactly.
Like anyway. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that shakes out. I agree with you. I think it's problematic as hell. So,
but problematic, but super smart though.
Oh yeah, well, look, corporations are going to find the loophole. They're going to find a way to get your money and they get the advantage. That's what they're in the business of doing. They make all these Wharton business school grads and Harvard business school grads to sit there and try to figure out how to do that.
How can we exploit this?
And it's all about exploiting people who aren't as smart.
Exactly.
That's just what this is about. Speaking of which, AT&T did do something I think is very smart. They finally unveiled what their answer to the cord-cutting wars are. You have the Amazon box, you have the Roku, you have the Google Chrome, you have my favorite, the Apple TV. But now
the Fire Stick.
Yeah, the Fire Stick. So now it's kind of like, where do these cable boxes? I was having this conversation over the holidays with my family, because everyone's asking me like, Dish Network sucks, and what do I do, and how do I? It's all confusing. So I was explaining to them how you can cut the cord, as I've done.
Yeah.
But now AT&T DirecTV has their version of that.
Of course.
And I think it's a very smart thing to do. And the question for me was basically, just to be clear, that they're offering their own digital service, their own digital box where you can get all your apps. You can do a lot of the same things.
Well,
Apple
it's
TV.
a bundle. It's a bundle.
It's a bundle,
yeah.
The question I have
same business model as cable. It's just now that you can do it through the app and you can do it through your mobile.
Got it.
Right.
So the question I have for you is what does this mean for Apple TV and Google and Amazon?
I think this is their dire attempt to compete with those guys, because they're not really trying to get cord cutters, they're trying to get cord nevers, right? People that have never signed up for a cable subscription. And so this is their way to thwart, Apple and Amazon's ability to kind of connect with the millennial audience.
Right.
And I feel that it's a good move. However, I don't think that the offering is that diverse. I think that a lot of the content that particular demographic is interested in, I don't know if they're offering it.
Right.
I mean, what are they offering? It's the basic channels. It's just on your phone. So I mean, but I still think it's a good move. It's a good strategy as a way to expand. I mean, their entrenchment with their traditional cable subscription model, and now doing it this way with the app. It's much cheaper. It's more efficient. I think there's a lot of pluses to it in terms of them being a competitive. Taking a competitive stance against those that have already adopted that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it helps. It depends on I think the optimal way would be if they had if DirecTV said they have, and I think it's kind of what they're doing. That's why I'm confused. Are they offering an app that would go on your Apple TV that's like a DirecTV button that functions like Sling TV?
From my understanding, it's its own standalone app that you download. Probably through the Apple Store on your phone, and then you're able to access, the channeling, the programming, the content that way.
Can you download that app on your Apple TV, which is all app based now?
Maybe, possibly. I don't know that answer.
That way.
I don't know that answer.
Because if that's the case, and I think that's smart. I mean, you're still paying $30 or whatever, and you get all that stuff. Then it's more of a competitor to Sling TV.
But why is that smart? Why is that smart if the whole point is for me to watch it on mobile? If I can already watch it on my TV, why do I need to download the app?
I think that it's back to the core never thing. It's these people who I'm never going to get a box.
I watch it on my phone.
Yeah, because you watch it on your phone or your computer. You're right. But the people who are still wanting to enjoy their big TV and not have cable like me, I don't foresee myself ever getting another cable box ever again. I don't ever see a reason for it.
Pointless.
So for me, but I do want, maybe I want DirecTV in their services. I like DirecTV stuff. Maybe I want the Audience Network. Maybe I want the NFL package. So if DirecTV says to me, hey, I'll give you an app for $40 a month, you get all of our shit. Yeah. And then it becomes a competitor to Sling TV.
It's a competitor. I mean, from what I've read, the price point, at least for HBO Cinemax, is $5. Yeah. And to get those as standalones is $15.
You're right.
So already that's kind of like a huge money saver.
Because they're able to take advantage of all of their bundles.
Exactly.
Like especially the ones that are really cost you, like the ESPN and the Disney Channel, which you don't know how much that stuff costs you until you a la carte it like I'm doing.
Exactly.
On your Sling, packages, you can get every channel for $40.
Right.
Except for
those
all the Disney channels too.
Right.
When you add the Disney channel and
it bumps it up to what?
Another $40.
That's ridiculous. So $40 just for the Disney bundle.
Disney bundles. that includes Freeform and Disney Channel and Disney XD and ESPN and ESPN2 and all that other stuff. Basically, all of that they're saying it's worth $40, whereas everything else on cable, TNT, History, Fox, Fox News, that's $40. So it's you can do the bundle where you get all the Disney stuff and your local channels, or you can get everything else and non-Disney stuff. If you want them both, it's $80.
That's crazy.
That's a real. But anyway, my point to that is that's a real. This is how ESPN's gotten so fat.
Yeah,
you realize that.
They got fat off our ignorance. When you realize how much you're paying for it, then you don't see the value of it. Like, why am I paying $15 for channels I never ever watch?
Exactly. And then of course now because they have to bundle it with the Disney stuff, it becomes this big fat thing.
So I read actually this morning. I mean, this is sort of kind of connected to this topic, but I read this morning that Netflix, starting today, will allow you to watch any of their content offline, which is huge.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you can download it now.
100%.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's crazy, right?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge thing for all of us because Amazon's doing that already.
Exactly.
And so Amazon's doing that, which is great. So Netflix is if they do that, that's a game changer.
That's a game changer.
That is breaking news. I didn't know that one.
Because now I don't need Wi-Fi.
Yep.
I don't need internet access. Just, I'm at the house. I want to watch this. I'm going on a trip. I'm good.
Yeah, it's how I operate. It's how my podcasts operate. Like
Right. You just download them on and you're good.
I like what I want to watch. I download what I want to watch. I go on my trips.
Yeah.
And now I was coming off of a trip I just went on. I was thinking the same thing. Like, God, there's so many. I wish I could be watching
Movies.
Luke Cage.
I mean, because that's what's going to eat up your data plan anyway.
Yeah.
The movies, not really the audio, the music,
and
the
also,
podcast.
And also, I think that in a world where we're now at 256 gigs, Apple's up at the 256. Like, now we could do that. Like, we both have 128
we have the storage.
phones.
No, excuse me.
Sorry.
Speak about your own phone. Speak about your own phone.
I'm sorry. I got 128. You got the 256. I forgot you got a new phone. My bad. No, but like that. So that allows us to be able to like download. Back in the days where you had like you're rocking 16 gigs or 32 gigs, that wasn't happening.
Not happening.
So I think that it's a smart move, and that's only going to get. These are only going to get better. Like you're only going to get like pretty soon we'll have a terabyte on our phone.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to just have all kinds of stuff
there.
So that's amazing.
Well, I only brought that up because, I think that, as Amazon, Netflix, as they continue to innovate, it's going to make it harder for these guys.
Yeah.
These guys are playing catch up,
They're playing catch up in AT&T, but what AT&T does have on their side is, and this is what the merger with DirecTV has, they have the power of the brand loyalty, and they're already in your house.
Yeah.
They're in the homes of
brand loyalty. I don't know about that. That's pretty strong.
DirecTV.
I have no loyalty to my cable company.
I know, but people will ride for DirecTV. People like businesses and individuals that ride for DirecTV, like DirecTV.
They ride for it, or they ride for the content?
I think they ride for the brand.
That's news to me. That's a huge statement.
Yeah, you're right for the content. You're right for the content.
Like, who cares? Well, as long as you get the content.
But this is why DirecTV and AT&T are spending so much money on the audience network, which is not doing so hot. But like they're trying to be Netflix. They're like spending a ton of money on original content because their thing is they've got to bolster up reasons for you to stay with us.
Yeah, because the brand is not strong. That's my point.
You're right. That's a good point. Well, before DirecTV had a pretty strong brand, and they had the NFL ticket, and they had some other stuff going on.
Was that before there was a Netflix?
Well, yeah.
A streaming Netflix, rather?
This is interesting. But and AT&T has a really sort of diversified technology company and a telecommunications company who has hardware, who has towers in the ground, and who has cables underneath the ground,
in the ocean.
And now with DirecTV, he's got satellites in the sky. Yeah. They're kind of in a power position because I'll be damned if all that shit's just gonna go away. AT&T's gonna figure out a way to leverage all of this stuff that they've actually got billions of dollars in. They got they've got satellites, and they got cell phone towers, they've got fiber optic cables running.
Well, yeah, they have the distribution infrastructure,
right.
But who cares if you have content that I don't care about? Who cares?
Right.
So
they got to figure that out.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Google is laying their own pipe.
Whoa.
Google is laying their own cable, fiber optic cable. And so Google is very, very, very quietly building a gigantic fiber, like super fast network that I just feel like, one day Google's just going to push a button. And I do, because they're like, it's kind of quiet, but not really. Like all the stuff they're doing with the mail, and they got the phones, and the Chrome, and then the Chromecast, and then the Alphabet, and then it's just I feel like there's a master room somewhere, in
Google Assistant, all of it.
All of it's like coming on. They got that new the
Google Assistant.
Yeah. The what do you call
the Google Assistant?
No, the Alexa killer is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
The Alexa killer and Google Assistant.
Bro, I said it.
What's it called? Like all this stuff, and then meanwhile they're like doing their fiber optic cable. I feel like when they're gonna push a button, it's just gonna be like Google. And we're like, what happened? So I don't know.
G&T brought to you by Google.
Yeah, I'm serious. They're really making moves. But anyway, I do want to talk about folks at DraftKings. Thanksgiving week was a fantastic week of football. A bunch of things happened. We're in the home stretch. If you're playing on your league, you're in the home stretch. You got one more week to go if you're in your traditional league. But on DraftKings, you have a lot more time.
Let's go.
Because you can play every single week, brand new lineups every week. It doesn't matter what's going on. You don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. Plenty to be thankful for this Thanksgiving, which is past, but you can move on through the holidays all the way through the Super Bowl and playing with DraftKings and share in over $100,000 in total prizes this weekend. You do what you always do. Use the promo code GEEK for Geek Nerd Tech.
What was that?
GEEK for Geek Nerd Tech at DraftKings.com. Play for free now with your first free deposit. That's GEEK and play for free and sharing over $100,000 in total prizes this very weekend. Go to DraftKings.com now. That's DraftKings.com now. As always, eligibility restrictions apply. See the site for details. That's it. Okay, so I want to talk about these the Russian. There's a news that talks about. We've already talked about the whole fake news and how
Facebook and Google,
and how these guys have like pumped in so much fake news. And how fake news will spread more than real stories and all these horrible things that we found out. But now it looks like the Russian propaganda folks are helping spread the fake news during the election. Like this whole Russia business is no joke, man.
the Americans.
It like what why it's driving me crazy because it's like what I don't know, man. Like, anyway, I
You getting emotional, bro?
No, it's just really upsetting to me because it's scary as to why Russia is so wants him to be president so bad. Like, why do they want him to be president so bad? You know,
They probably want him to be president so bad because they figure that he'll probably fall on his own sword, and falling on his own sword will diminish the value and power of America, which will increase the value and power of Russia.
Sure.
So, I mean, obviously, these have been two foes for generations, and using the powers that be now with technology. I mean, Russia's always used propaganda to be able to create and stir a certain type of consciousness to its people, to how it outwardly expresses it to the world. And so now they're using the means of today, of the technological era to do that. And I mean, I can't say that America's not doing the same thing. I can't say that. So in a way, it's kind of like a tug of war.
Sure.
Of using these type of strategies to diminish each other.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's a lot to do. As I'm thinking about this, trying to see look at this sort of geopolitical landscape. It has a lot to do with all the, his threats of pulling out of NATO and all these things that because, Russia is still trying to take over countries and still invading. And the only thing that's stopping them from invading and spreading their Russianness all over the world are these alliances we have, and are these the thought of they're going to bump against America.
No different than America.
True, but if Trump's already like, I don't care if Russia goes into wherever, I don't care if Russia go where they want to go, do what they got to do. Then and America's not, we're not going to join in the rest of the world in stopping Russia. We're not going to join the rest of the world to do that. And then Putin's like, great. Yeah. Now I can take over all of Europe, and Trump won't care as long as he's getting paid, and I think that's kind of what where it lies. But it's really I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's important about this story is that when we talk about it a lot on the show in terms of the information that come across your desk and that you consume, that you have to do your due diligence and fact check and don't just go off, that one article that you saw, or the headline that you saw, or the tweet that you read.
Right.
Kind of like do your own research and then, kind of render your opinion from that,
Yep.
And so I feel that a lot of people won't go through that process. That workflow of how they consume information is literally they'll eat it and regurgitate it and spread it, send it, forward it, share it, and they don't really, take a beat to like, hey, is this really like rooted in truth? And so I think they're playing on the ignorance of the people, and which is smart because that's what programming is. That's what propaganda is,
Well, speaking of which, Reddit also Reddit CEO is actually in a bit of hot water and sort of talks about he regrets sort of editing Trump supporters' posts, which sort of speaks back to the whole fake news and does Facebook do all this stuff? And Reddit is not exactly Facebook,
It's not exactly right.
But like there was a lot of shit that he was getting and they were getting. So when these Trump supporters would come in, they would secretly change their headlines and change their mentions into something that seemed like the opposite as a way to troll them back. I mean, Reddit has long been kind of a home for this sort of stuff, and he's the CEO of this, and it's kind of like what he's doing. But again, this is your wielding power that is, maybe you shouldn't be doing. And I don't know. I'm glad that he kind of came out and admitted this to a certain degree, and he should not be doing this. But what role does Reddit play in all this? Do you think is Reddit like a new? Is Reddit exempt from the same stuff that we're holding
no one's
Facebook
exempt. No one's exempt. Every company has social responsibility, has a degree of social responsibility. You can't just act autonomously and ignorantly. Like, you have to have a sense of value and principle. And so I think this diminishes the company. Like, your top executive, your leader, your commander in chief is engaging in behavior that is not fair, and fair journalistically, fair, just as a human being,
Right.
like it's a form of trickery, and so, like, how can the viewer, or how can the member of that community even have faith and trust that what now they're reading and consuming on Reddit is of value? Because it could be, diminished. It could be another trick being played on them.
Right.
And so I think that, even though he apologized, I still think it'll have some type of negative consequence to the company.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm also on the fence on this one because I agree. Well, you said it best. I think you actually said it. All these companies have social responsibility, so we can't hold Reddit to a different standard. But again, if ever there's a place of like the internet as a free place to do whatever you want to do, and expression that's run by the people, it's not governed. It's Reddit.
Yeah,
so
that's the consumer. That's not the
but if
the leader, the creator.
CEO comes in like, I'm just a member of Reddit. I guess that you're altering things.
He's not just saying I'm a member of Reddit, and this is my opinion. He's changing stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's plagiarizing,
Well, yeah, but exactly. He can't play God in that, because if I'm posting stuff to Reddit and he's like changing my stuff, I'd be mad about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not good. I wanted to mention briefly that we know about the mannequin challenge, which has been popularized and done and sort of went viral in every different ways. And before that, there was the ice bucket challenge, which was a big thing. The ALS group, who were a big benefactor and started the ice bucket challenge, sort of were trying to get in on the mannequin challenge, and did a really cool sort of a viral video. Basically talking about doing their version of the mannequin challenge. It's pretty cool. I don't know much more to say about it, but I don't know. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great to have these challenges that bring a certain consciousness and awareness to people, and to be able to kind of sink their teeth into that and propel it forward, and in return propelling their agenda forward, which is educating people as to some of the conditions that a lot of people in this world face. I think is great.
Right. I agree. Now this is one it's cool. Facebook's jumping up on instant games through Facebook Messenger. I don't use Facebook Messenger. I like playing games, but this is cool. I think it's just another way for them to get us using Messenger and get us sharing and talking and advertise to us. But talk to me about why this is great.
This is huge because of their user base, bro. Like, there's no other company that has a user base as big as Facebook. I think their Messenger is almost 1 billion, if not more. Like, just the Messenger, people that use the Messenger. So to be able to have, this add-on feature where you could play games, compete, and actually chat at the same time. And the graphics look dope. Like, there's no latency, there's no slowness to download stuff. Like, they're using the HTML5, so it's different from the App Store. We actually have to download the game. There's no add-ons yet, so I feel like they're obviously trying to go after the App Store.
Yeah.
And
very
Facebook,
so.
Was killing games for a while. I mean, one of the biggest games in the world was Facebook, Candy Crush.
Yeah.
So I mean, to be able to kind of like take a few steps back and like, okay,
let's Farmville,
exactly. Take a few steps back. Let's redesign this. Let's make it better. Like, that's a huge move. You know what I'm saying? You think about brands like Twitch. How big the esports movement is becoming, and just gaming industry period. To be able to have Facebook now, kind of like figuring that out in a better innovative way to be able to touch their users, I think is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you one bit on that. I just it's hard for me to wrap my head around the usage of it because I don't use it in that way. But we'll see. Maybe I will. Well, maybe I will.
I mean, but are you a big mobile gamer though? Yeah. I mean, period. Like.
Yeah, I mean,
you have a lot of games on your phone?
I do have a lot of games. I do play a lot of games on my phone, but I think the games I play are very sort of, they're all puzzle. I'm a puzzle game guy, and I'm in and out. I'm kind of like, I'll do puzzle, and I'm out. I've got about 6 or 7 that I play. I got about 100 on my phone. I play like 6 or 7. this is where the space on my phone is my enemy, because I'm just like, anything that's free and looks good or I get a deal on the Apple Store, I just download it.
Right.
I never delete it.
Right.
So I need to go through and clean some shit out. But
yeah,
I do. What about you? You play mobile games?
I mean, I used to. You know, and I'm kind of like you. I like the more strategy puzzle type of games that, you know, kind of like free up my creative mind and doing something that's just like whatever. I like doing that, but in terms of the more like first player games or more the fantasy strategy games like that, I don't really mess with them on the phone.
I agree. Like I'm not like, you know, the God of War or the what's the Schwarzenegger one?
Was it Strike something?
Yeah, Strike, whatever that.
Yeah.
Mobile Strike.
Mobile Strike. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's just too. I'm not doing the whole like building stuff up and, you know, buying stuff, and I can't.
No, thank you.
I'm good on all that. Not on my phone. That's all too much. Okay. I'm really excited about this because Rogue One is quietly about to drop. Rogue One is
Quietly?
here.
What you saying, boy?
Well, I just feel like there was a lot of like, it's coming. Then like, there's been a lot of other fanfare. Like, at least for me personally, I kind of like put it to the side because it's always, you know, the announcement was so far back, and it's like, we got 2 years before Rogue One, and now it's here.
Yeah.
And so I'm really now beginning to be excited about it.
Let's go. I'm excited about it too. I mean, I know that, you know, ticket sales have already skyrocketed, and that Fandango actually crashed, is what I read. That the demand was so high that, you know, they couldn't even meet the demand on the site. So I mean, clearly the excitement is there, like it was last year. My question to you is, do you think that this will be a better expression of what we saw last year in terms of the movie and in terms of people coming out to see the movie?
The first part of the question is, I'm glad that they're doing this. I think the mission statement in them doing this, like, I think when they first announced, like, okay, we're doing, you know, 3 more Star Wars movies, but then not only that, we're doing a bunch of other properties in and around that, including some other standalone movies, including some TV stuff and some video games. I think that was looked upon as a little bit of the cynical, like, oh, they're just making Star Wars, the Chewbacca movie, what they're gonna do now, the Ewok movie. Like, there was kind of cynical that it's trying to cash it in on us.
Yeah.
But I think the 2 they've announced so far that are in production, which are Rogue One and the new Han Solo movie, you know, they seem they seem like the idea of you telling stories within the Star Wars universe,
of course,
which is kind of what they've been doing with Clone Wars and other things. I think it's very exciting. This particular movie, as an opportunity to do a different type of Star Wars movie, like almost more of like a war, kind of a you know, Dirty Dozen, if you will, or kind of like you know, a heist / war movie. I think that is really cool to do within Star Wars as a standalone film, to be able to fill in some of the blanks here. The problem that I'm having is all the reports of, I love that Gareth, it was a director, I love that he was doing it, was dark. Some of the problems I'm having with it is apparently, you know, Disney kind of stepped in and said it was a little too dark, it's a little too much of a war movie, it's still Star Wars, let's
tone it down a bit.
Let's tone it down a little bit. So I'm interested to see what that looks like, if anything. And the second part of that is, I don't like that they got nervous and cranked up the Star Wars, reminding people this is Star Wars. They cranked up the reveal that.
Why don't you like that?
Well, no, because I don't want the big reveal that Vader is going to be in it. Let that be a surprise. They cranked that. They spoiled that because people were getting.
But people already know this is the prequel to Episode 4.
Right, but that's
they
the
already
thing.
know that, though.
That's the thing. A lot of people know that, but a lot of people don't. Really, most people don't know that. Aside from the me's and you's, most people are kind of like, I don't get, like, I had this conversation over the weekend again. Like, I don't understand what this is. Is this like after? Is this like part of it? Is this, what is this movie? And so that's why you see them, all the iconography now that posted with just all stormtroopers and the Death Star.
Right.
It makes you remind, oh, this is a Star Wars, because you can't have these new characters. So people are like, what is that?
Right.
X-Wing fighters. Okay. Right. And now this posted with Vader. It's like, okay, this is something to do with that. So
I didn't feel that way.
Well, I mean, you didn't, because you're more clued up, and I certainly did, because I know we both know exactly what's going on. But I think that
To the average
public,
person, got you.
They're like, what is this? And so they're really, that where it says up there, a Star Wars story. If you look at the new posters, the Star Wars is 3 times that size now. It is. They've redone it, so it's like Star Wars. You know, so they're making sure that people understand that. So I'm saying all that to say, I wish they would have just left it alone. If you're going to tell a standalone story, let it be its own thing. This opportunity to make it R-rated, make it gritty, do whatever. You got the franchise over here that you can do all the family stuff for.
Right.
So, but that being said, I'm still excited about it. Kathleen Kennedy, CEO of Lucasfilm, has said that there will not be a Rogue 2.
Right.
They're not going to make their own movies, which I'm
In fact-
happy about.
In fact, I read that some of the protagonists in this movie are going to die.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, which is fine, and I think that's great because again, this is servicing the larger story. This is going back like how did they get the plans for the Death Stars? Based on kind of one line. For those of you who don't know, it's based pretty much on one throwaway line in Star Wars where he says, our secret rebel force has obtained the plans for the Death Star.
right.
And that's kind of the line.
So the posit is how did they do it?
How do they do that? And who is the secret rebel force? What is that story? And so. I love that you can go back and mine Star Wars and take one line.
That's dope.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me want to do that. Let's want to do that. Like, let's watch something. Maybe we can
make our own Star Wars.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So the idea of it takes the cynicism out of the studio version of this because this is now already tracking, as you mentioned, to be a huge movie. So the cynicism of Marvel. I mean, the Marvel Corporation, not Marvel, but Disney and everyone else is like, oh, Rogue 2 and 3, Rogue 5. No, like this is a standalone movie. We'll make a bunch of money and we'll go on and we'll create more stories.
Yeah.
So I like that.
I like that too.
We'll see. Now, I think that they're still leaving the door open for a TV show.
No, thank you. Keep it movies.
Yeah, there could be some rogue, Netflix show further telling the story of these characters, but whatever. Last but not least, let's talk about the Walking Dead, a show that I don't really watch.
You never really watched.
I never watched, but the ratings. I just fell behind on it, honestly. In season 2, I was thrown off by season 2, and I understand it got good again. But when I start to think about catching up and binge watching.
Like there's other shows that I'd rather watch first.
Well, it's just like 6 seasons of zombie killing does not sound like
I feel it.
It's a lot of zombie killing to binge. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. People tell me I'm wrong. I will check it out. But
I would be on that side to tell you you're wrong.
Okay, good. All right,
whatever.
I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get there before it's at season 10. I got 10 seasons. But I will say this that the ratings right now. Are you the season? Are you in?
I've seen the opening, the first episode, but I have not seen any episode thereafter.
Yeah.
And I think that I haven't because it doesn't seem as good.
Yeah.
It seems like something's missing.
Well, they talk about how they're the fans of the comic book and everything talk about how they're taking way too much time and sort of building out this world.
Yeah, they're stretching it out.
And it's like just build the world and keep it moving.
They're trying to. Yeah. I mean, they could tell this. They could tell this in one season.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's I wonder. I mean, it peaked in season 6, and now it's kind of the premiere was great.
Premiere was dope.
And then, but since the premiere, there was a ridiculous, like a 1/3 drop off.
Yeah, it went down to I think 11 million. From 17 million down to 11 million.
It hasn't been this low since season 3.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see, and we'll see what's what.
But 11 million is still a pretty high up number for a show.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll see. The last thing, I think that's it. That's it for us. Anything else you want to hit on before we get out of here?
Man, have you heard the Bruno Mars album?
Oh no,
it is excellent.
I'm sure it is. Whew. It's out.
Yeah.
It's out because you can get some early from.
Yes,
you be taking trips to China.
It's out. It is. It is actually. If you like early '90s music, it is dope.
Oh well, I'm a huge Bruno guy. It's hard. It's really difficult to be. Bruno Mars is a separate conversation, but it's one of those things when you really love someone and get into someone, and then that phenomenon when they become massively huge, and you're kind of like, So it's what's happening to The Weeknd right now too.
Weeknd's album is dope.
I know,
Starboy is dope.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you hear something like Party Monster, and you're like, this is the best song ever, and then you realize that it's. Everyone's your grandma's like Party Monster, I mean, so makes
what?
Exactly. This is the thing I struggle with. It makes it feel like, it diminishes.
Did it diminish Michael when everyone loved him?
No.
All right then.
Exactly. So Bruno Mars, yes, and Weeknd, yes.
Yeah, those are great albums. And I don't really throw that out much.
Okay.
Those are great albums.
I'm very happy. Still on Solange, still on Tribe. Yeah, okay, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That's
what else is popping? I don't know, TV wise. What are you watching right now?
Oh God, I'm watching Amazon. I'm watching Grand Tour. My Top Gear guys are back, so I'm very excited about the Grand Tour.
Nice.
The first episode was great. The second episode was they're spending like 3 times the money that they spent on BBC, which is already insane. So they're doing their stuff. Seventh episode was not as good, but still great. I'm watching Insecure. I'm watching Westworld, of course, like everyone else.
Quick takes, go. Westworld, go.
It's good. I feel like that we on the internet and everyone else are kind of ahead of the show. I think that we kind of had this stuff. Are you caught up?
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like without giving it away, the big reveal that was revealed in this last episode, I feel like that we kind of figured that out maybe 4 episodes ago, and the whole multiple timeline thing. I feel like that was all figured out multiple times ago. So it sucks when we're that far ahead of the show, and then it gets to the point and they treat it like dun dun dun. It's like, man, we already knew.
It's not suspenseful.
Yeah, it's like okay, just don't make that. Just reveal it and keep it moving. So I really hope that.
But I think we know what's happening, but I think it's providing context for the characters.
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely more interested in what's going to happen in season 2 than I am in season 1. And I do appreciate the Nolan-esque, multi-layer story kind of going on. The Inception, the kind of what's an interstellar version of like layers, multiple timelines, and they all converge to end. What's the other one? His first one, backwards movie. Guy Pearce.
I have it. The one with the photo.
Yeah. Insomnia. No, Insomnia was his too.
Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite films.
We're drawing blanks, so we're tripping. I think it's just the eye. We're tripping. Anyway, that one too. It's the Nolans are known for their storytelling and they're like really huh? Yeah. Memento. Yeah. Thank you. Jesus. Thanks. So the idea of like taking this big idea of a story and then laying it all out and then presenting it to us. So to do that with a TV show, which you're kind of doing with and it's pretty complicated. Multiple timelines, who's human, who's not human, what is human, what isn't human, the park versus the real world. Exactly. We've yet to see the real world. My complaints on this show, I'm going to get out of here. This is like a lot of people. I love Tessa Thompson. There's people feel like they're in different shows. I don't know what Tessa Thompson's character is doing and what she's doing. I love her. I love her, but I just feel like she just the way she's playing that character and how brash and weird it is. It seems like it's a different show. The writer dude, the British writer guy, he's definitely a different show. Like the bloody like his tone is it's like a different show. Like those two guys are existing in like a weird, different, tonally a different show than where Anthony Hopkins and these other folks are.
I think you need that. You need that kind of expansion of diversity of character because they hold their own unique place in the pantheon of characters.
Okay,
like, so you need those colors.
I just feel like they're doing something like heightened.
But you need that. You need that to stretch it a bit, But you're saying that diminishes the quality of it all?
It makes me, it takes me
jarring.
out. It takes me out. The British guy especially. I mean, I'll just look at Tessa Thompson and see what she's doing. But, like, the British guy's really taking me out. It's the British guy, it's Tessa Thompson, and it's the crazy best friend. The evil best friend.
The evil best friend is stupid.
Like those 3 just take me out. They're too much. Like I'm like every time I see them, they're like doing too much. It's like taking me out. Yeah. But other than that, I think Jeffrey Wright is just
awesome,
on point,
killing it.
Hopkins is doing his best Hopkins stuff. He's killing it. I think that my girl, what's her head, is killing it. Dolores, Evan Rachel Wood, and even my boy Cyclops is killing it. Yeah. So. James Marsden. So I feel like that he's going to be. I think he might be
contender.
No, what's my man's name? The Wade. What's the big bad that we haven't seen yet? Not Wade. We're terrible anyway. Yeah. But I feel like that's going to be him. That's my prediction. I just went on and on and we got to go. But what you're all in?
No, I mean I like it. I like the. I'll make it brief too. I like just the convergence of science fiction and reality, and especially where we are in reality with AI technology and just augmented reality, all that stuff. And just how they're telling the story. I think it's just interesting. How they're infusing biology, technology, and fantasy all in the same type of place. I just like I like the evolution of it, and just in terms of what we talk about on the show a lot, how the point of time when the artificial intelligence becomes smarter than the creator, and that's what we're seeing in this show, you know. And I like to see how that's going to evolve in future seasons. And so that's why I like it. I like it more conceptually than executionally.
And Fandy Newton, don't forget about her.
Fandy Newton.
She's killing it. She's killing it. Thank you. We'll get out of here on that, but I'll have to ask you offline about Black Mirror. I'm going to see if you're watching that yet and get caught up on that. Thank you guys for watching and listening. We will check you next week. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Achilles Shine, AKILISHINE. And where can they find you?
Snapchat at JK Braz, Twitter, Instagram at Joe K Braswell, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in. From executives Keven Undergaro,
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.